on Glendale and Broadway, and the Masonic Temple here in downtown Glendale as well. So it's interesting to note that the Alex was originally known as the Alexander Theater. It was named after the 3-year-old son of Claude L. Langley, who was the original owner here of the theater. And it wasn't until 1940 when the spire and the marquee were built that the name change happened. Basically, Alexander was just too long to fit onto the sign, so they stuck the name change to the Alex.
Alexander was the name of the owner?
The son.
The son.
So the owner was Claude L. Langley, and Alexander was his
I was wondering why.
Yeah. And so he actually built this place to provide a good place of entertainment for Glendalians who were going to Los Angeles and Hollywood. So I think that worked out pretty well. So originally they would do silent films and vaudeville productions here. So for those of you who don't know what vaudeville is, it's basically like your old-timey version of America's Got Talent. It was just a variety of Egyptian revival and Greek revival architecture. So the Egyptian revival elements would be the Doric columns at the front with the battered base. We also have the stepped pyramidal roof, which is similar to early Egyptian tombs and Babylonian ziggurats. And then we also have the palmat pattern here on the architrave. And then the Greek revival elements would be the Greek key or the Greek meander motif that's going across the top there. We also have a Roman grill right behind that subverse, and the Ionic columns there at the entrance. And then there's other elements that are kind of more stylized, the Jazz Age, which is kind of like their 1920s interpretation of what would be appropriate for this style. So we have the band of entertainers here at the top, and to me that kind of looks like if Greek pottery was done in 1925. And then they also have the urns on top, which are filled in with fiberglass, so that way rain doesn't come in. And then we also have the medallions, which are more of a classical architecture element. And then I don't want you guys to miss out just because this is pretty cool. To look up and look down because there's so many details that you would miss otherwise. So we have the original terrazzo flooring, but also too you can see there's like an egg and dart motif just kind of lining in the ceiling here, in the coffered ceiling, and you can see more palmettes and just more details up close, which is pretty neat. And then we'll make our way back out to the entrance where we can see
So the Egyptian aspects of these, you said similar to the tombs part?
So when we step back, we go into see more. So you have the palmettes, which are painted on the architrave. So yeah, they look kind of like palm fronds. And then, you can't see here, but when we step back, you'll see how it kind of has like a pyramidal roof. So that's a big feature. And then also these columns here, how they just kind of have a battered base to them. They sloop down. So these are more Egyptian, and then those are more Greek.
Oh, because they get wider at the bottom.
Yeah.
Battered, it's called battered.
Yeah.
And then these people up there, that's Egyptian, like how the river.
No, so that's kind of more like a modern interpretation. So to me, it kind of reminds me of, like if you saw Greek pottery, but if it was done in the 20s, or even like if they started painting people on the wall. So that's just more loosey-goosey Jazz Age. And then you also see a lot of egg and dart motifs, which symbolizes life and death. The egg being life because it's the ovum, and then the arrow being the arrow that killed you. And then the Greek meander up there, and you can see more of the egg and dart. Yeah, the squares that keep going and going and going. So that symbolizes infinity. So we have all these little intricate symbolism that are all elements of life and death, which I think they were done really specifically for the space because it is a theater, and what is theater than an interpretation of the human condition.
The egg and darts are like, that's in the copper ceiling?
Yes.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. So that's done in 1940. So prior to that, there were shops that were blocked off about half of the theater. And so when S. Charles Lee built the spire, they demolished all the buildings that had like dress shops and candy shops and all that stuff just to kind of make way. And there also had a ceiling that connected, an outdoor ceiling that connected both parts. But when they were reconstructing things and restoring everything in 1993 to give it the original look, they decided to get rid of the ceiling, but then we also did preserve the iconic spire. Metal. So this is a precursor to modernism. So if you start thinking about it, you can kind of see the evolution of architecture. That was put in there too, but I'm talking more along like just this was cut off at the sidewalk at one point. So when they restored it, you can kind of see the difference in color right here, differentiating the original from the replicated. And let's see, so and also this space is now operated by Glendale Arts, so they're a local nonprofit. They do over 250 shows here all the way across, and they would go from downtown LA, and it ended at Brandon Mountain.
Oh.
And so when that went away, a lot of the theaters started going away too because people weren't brought in from outside areas.
There was a trolley that downtown.
Yeah, so that's why
the
you have
subway.
the big, that's why you have the big median.
That's why you have the big median. Also on Clowns. And the streetcar go all the way down, right?
Yeah, all the way down to the house. And then it would go, and so it won't go down, but also when we can turn out.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Now the alley, so you have a sushi restaurant, you have no it's here, it's back here. So what we're trying to do, it does include the alley, and it is used for loading and service, but at about 10 o'clock it gets closed down, and so trying to get some thoughts, some feedback on what could happen in this area. It's kind of a it used to be in Hollywood. They came to us, and we worked with them to open. They do live theater, so they have a 80 seat theater and a 40 seat, and they do more classical plays. It's a number of working actors, and you'll see them on TV, but you don't know their name. Because it's like, oh, that's the guy from the 4th episode of ER. No, I saw him on the show. So what they do is they perform here to kind of for practice, repetition. So they come here to do their stage plays. So when they get that call, they're ready to go. Then they go, and it works out well for them because there's like over 100 actors, and then they'll have, if there's a part, they'll have 2 or 3 actors practice for it. So if I get a call that I'm going to be on a TV show, the next person can step up and fill in for me. They are starting to do their own plays, their own writing. So if you like live theater, that's the place to go. Again, part of this art and entertainment district, trying to build off of this. So unfortunately, what you can't find is you have some of the higher end retail like Bloomingdale's or the stuff in the Americana, and over here you have some more of the discount stores. So it's to me it's a good mix. If I want to spend a lot of money, I go across the street. So this would be the kind of the southern end of the scope of work. About 10 years ago, I actually worked with their planning department. We did a master plan for the entire block from Brand to Louise, Colorado to Harvard, and we broke it up into four phases. The first one was we completed the work on that alley. Remember before there was those big overhead power lines, and it was really, so we cleaned that up. We built the Paseo from Brand over to the park. We did the Museum of Neon Art, and as part of that, we wanted to make the library more accessible. So we always figured that if we do a renovation of the library, we should move the entrance. And that was our third phase, the actual renovation of the library. So you'll see we have an entrance on the south, entrance on the north, which really fits the building because you have that big reading area in the middle. And so the idea is that we control this, we control what happens here, we control the park. We're going to partner with the Armenian American Museum to do the museum on Colorado. So when you have that, the library.
When's the museum going to be?
Well, they're doing their fundraising, and they had a telethon a few months ago, and it was pretty successful.
It's going to be right there.
Yeah, I'll show you when we go through the library. And as part of that, we would remove the parking lots on either side of the library. So even though we're going to introduce a 55,000 square foot building in the park, we're going to have more park space when we're done. And that'll be an opportunity for the city to kind of complete the central park. So,
so that museum is going to be instead of the park?
Yeah, I'll show you where it's at. We can walk through. programs. They have pool tables, a 3-story building. You have about 1 acre square of park, and then you have that goes away. That's the cooling and heating center for the library. That goes away, and then you have the continuation that paseo. You have steps that come up, and then all of this would be area that the public can actually use. It'd be a park, and then the plan is that on that side of the library, that'll be more of a kind of a children's orientated area. That's what they'll have, like a children's playground. And then this will be more of an area that's flexible. We're gonna have a fence here. Like a new park. Yeah. So even though we are putting the building there, there'll be more open space. So it's right around the corner of the park.
Where the men are sitting at the bench?
Yeah, where the men are sitting at the bench. And then because we'll be removing this parking lot and that parking lot, we'll make up more. We'll actually have a larger park space, even though we're putting the building there.
Yeah.
And
The
so,
library was renovated 2 years ago. As you know, interest was created over there, and this space was created here because roughly 10 years ago, the city council, Glendale City Council, wanted a space where they could speak about what the histories, Armenian history, so people will understand what's going on, and other histories also. Humanitarian man is a big issue, and so this was created specifically to deal with issues of that sort. Human rights issues, social justice issues, man's humanity and man. And so myself and my wife, who's not here right now, are the curators of the space. Every 2 months we change the exhibitions. You can see we have like some exhibitions coming up. And so we've done our 2 Armenian exhibitions already. We've done a Korean Comfort Movement exhibition, Holocaust, slavery, incarceration, Native American. So we've done all kinds of issues from across all kinds of different Armenian community. We always do, every year we do an Armenian related, especially the Armenian related is related to our history starting from the genocide, all the impact over the number of generations. And it's usually done in April, like this. So this time, we did something different and special. We commissioned 3 different artists to do work specifically for this gallery, specifically on the idea of threshold and passage. And so it's not so much the past, what happened, but what happened after that, after the genocide kind of blew up, like the Big Bang for our diaspora. So what are the passages, what are the kind of journeys that artists have taken, and how they can speak about that journey, and how they can talk about it as a threshold, where you're crossing from one place to another, you're crossing a threshold, which is also itself a journey. And so on this wall, this is specifically made, and so artist named Sofia Gasparian, who does murals and things like that, and we approached her, we said, would you want to do something on a wall in this gallery? And literally 2 days later, she sent us a sketch of, this is what I want to do, and she had kind of this thing in her mind for many, many years, and this is kind of the opportunity. So this is kind of a long take on Armenian history, starting with goddess Anahit, which is pre-Christian Armenian presence in that area. As you know, Armenians have had 3,000-year history in that region, and then it comes through the genocide of last century, and then through today, and this looks to the future. And so she's from Armenia herself, and so this part of it here, for instance, is sort of the Armenian part where she grew up, and her journey to here.